Alright, today we're going to be doing a review of Nikon's 18-55mm kit lens for DX DSLRs. Now, if you're watching this video, chances are you're planning on buying your first Nikon DSLR, and you're wondering what the lens it comes with is going to be like. Now, a lot of reviewers online, and a lot of people will tell you that the 18-55 kit lenses, are terrible, useless, whatever, and honestly, that's really not very true. The thing is, those people who are saying that are generally accustomed to, $1,000 plus lenses. So obviously compared to those, a budget lens like this obviously can't hold up. But like I said, as a budget lens, as a beginner lens, it really isn't that bad. So to start off, let's take a look at focusing. Now to manually focus this lens, you actually have to twist and turn the front element. Now the real problem with that, obviously, is you really very easily run the risk of touching the glass of your lens when you're manually focusing. In addition to that, there's also very little room to focus, which could also be a little bit inconvenient. Fortunately, the story on autofocus is completely different. Now I'm going to autofocus it right now. Now the autofocus is really quick and actually very silent. Considering this is considered a kit lens, the autofocus on this is just awesome. Now, honestly, the autofocus performance on this lens is more akin to one of Canon's USM lenses than what you'd think of on a kit lens. Now, of course, this lens does not have full-time manual focus, so if the lens is set to autofocus, trying to turn the manual focus ring, it will not move, and if you move it too hard, you will break your lens. Now, of course, this lens also has vibration reduction, which is Nikon's version of image stabilization. It doesn't make a huge difference, but if you have very shaky hands, it could be very helpful. Now, one of the weird things about this lens is, with just about any other zoom lens, when you're zoomed all the way out, the front element is in all the way, and when you're zoomed as far as you can, it will be extended as much as possible. But for some reason on this lens, the extension is for some reason shortest, somewhere around 28mm, which is very weird because on most lenses what you'll do is, you zoom it out all the way, which is of course safest, so it's least likely to hit anything. So for this lens, you can't just zoom out and forget about it. You actually have to manually look and make sure it's as close in as possible, which is weird. I'm not sure why they did it like that. Now, 18-55 is honestly a very useful zoom range. The only real complaint about the zoom range I have is it really doesn't zoom that far. There are many other standard zoom lenses, for example, a 24-70, which is definitely a much more useful focal length, as 55 really isn't all that far, even on a crop sensor. So when I took this lens and did some nature photography with it, I found that there were a lot of pictures that could have been way better. So when you're buying your DSLR, if you have a few extra $100 to spend, I would definitely consider investing in a zoom lens in addition to this, or even instead of this, if nature photography is going to be big for you. But what this zoom range is very useful for is lots of indoor work, because 18mm on this lens, even on crop sensor, is very wide and very easy to use just about anywhere. And of course, on the other end, 55 is zoomed in enough to get some nice shallow depth of field, which is where your background is out of focus, and that's considered desirable because that emphasizes the subject, it makes them more important. So this is actually a very versatile lens. Alright, so that is Nikon's 18-55mm kit lens. Now, to sum it up quickly, if you're mostly going to be using this for people shots, family shots, casual stuff like that, maybe around the house or in a park or whatever, this is fine. It's not perfect, but as a beginner budget lens, it'll do the job. The only thing it really flat out fails on is, like I said, 55 just really is not that far of a zoom, and if you want to do long range stuff, you're definitely going to need to get something else. Now let's take a look at some of the sample shots I got with this, and all these pictures were taken on a D5100 body.